Hey, what's up? Just started my YouTube channel after watching your video. I love to hear that, man. What's your channel about? What do you guys think are the biggest money-making opportunities? Talk about making some money. Because we're stepping into what I believe is the biggest transformation, really, of wealth in human history. We're seeing the biggest transfer of wealth that we've ever seen, and it's happening in the name of safety. It's quite fascinating watching people's behaviors change, the way that they shop, they consume information, how they perceive relationships. Everything is changing, and it's changing really, really quickly. And with massive change comes massive opportunity. So on this live stream, I'm going to be talking a lot about what you guys think is the biggest opportunity, what I think is some really good opportunities, and how we can all kind of brainstorm to figure out some great ways to make a ton of money. Because right now, cash is going to be king. You know, when assets and the economy goes down, things start getting hit pretty hard. It's going to be nice to sit on a lot of cash. So right now, people still think everything is great, but a lot of people are also talking about, like Michael Burry. He thinks stocks and crypto and real estate, everything is going to get hit really hard, and we're going to have a really big recession. Ray Dalio says that the upcoming recession is going to be worse than 2008. So a lot of really smart people have a lot of concerning things to say about the economy. Hey, what's up, Crestline, California? What do you guys think of some really good opportunities to make a lot of money? Please smash that like button for me as well. I generally don't ask people to hit the like button on live, but hit the like button. It will help share this, and more people will see it and learn about making money online. So it'd be pretty awesome. Here, Canada is going through a lot of problems right now. Here, they're really clamping down on your freedoms and your liberties. And that's the other thing, is what we're going to see happen is just, it's kind of negative to talk about, but the 99%, what they're trying to do is they're trying to restrict freedoms, liberties, things of that nature. And the 1%, that's why right now, the next 1 to 3 years is the time to make a ton of money. It's a time to really build out businesses and become liquid. And doing such will allow you freedom. You'll be able to move around. You'll be able to get into positions and set yourself up for opportunities you otherwise wouldn't. So that's what I think is going to happen. Thanks so much, Ken. I really appreciate it. You got it. Yeah, I really want to build a community on this channel. So consider subscribing. I'm going to be going live probably 2-3 times a week, talking about making money, real estate, investing, and just being really strategic in this world. YouTube is an awesome business for me as well. And I literally just organized, and I'm launching new companies right now, and getting ready for what I believe is going to be probably my biggest year. So, because I think we're going to see devalued, stocks and opportunities coming. So if you're sitting on a mountain of cash, that's a good situation to be in. Sit on a mountain of cash, and there's a lot of distress in the market. I think one great business is going to be the money lending business. I think that is going to be one of the strongest business models going forward in the next 1 to 2 years as things start changing. Short-term loans, money lending, asset lending, that is going to be a massive opportunity. That e-commerce as well, building out online stores, is going to be huge. California water drought, buy land to sell water rights. Yeah, exactly. I heard some crazy things about California. They had a ton of reserves, but I guess in order to save salmon, there's some salmon that they could save by getting rid of all the water in the dams. They did so, and now there's a shortage. Oh, hey, what's up, Legendaria or Legendalera? I think that's how you say it. Yeah. I'm flush with cash, waiting for the main event. Well, yeah. I mean, what are you doing in California, RB? Are you investing in real estate out there? Or are you renting? What are your thoughts on California real estate? California is a bad place for capitalism. I'm a homemaker, but I want to buy an old inn and use for housing by the week or the month. Really smart. Short term, what I think is a really big opportunity is affordable housing. I think that's going to be one of the biggest demands. People are going to be downsizing. There's a lot of people like Grant Cardone and a lot of really big names in the real estate industry. They have different. Grant buys Class A buildings. I mean, like the most beautiful, the things that you'd see on a postcard type buildings. Those are the ones that he's buying. What happens if you reflect back to 2008, the housing crash, the economy went down, people downsized. They moved from those shiny and flashy buildings, and they went somewhere more affordable. And right now, what we're seeing the transformation of technology taking over jobs. What's going to happen? I think a lot of these high-paying jobs are going to start changing hands. And I think the digital revolution with Zoom and things of that nature are going to be able to outsource more and more jobs to India, to Asia, to other parts of the world where they can get smarter people for less money. And I think that the real opportunity in housing is going to be in the more affordable units. So I'm looking at a 60-unit building right now with a friend of mine, and this is out in like Mississippi, really, really cheap, but the average rents are like $350. So inexpensive. But I think there's going to be a lot of pressure, upward demand on those rental units because people are going to want affordable places to live. California's worst state. It really is horrible. I mean, I loved California. I moved there 2006, got into business there 2008, became a real estate agent there in 2008 as well. A real estate investor, had a bunch of businesses and did a bunch of things out there. And I'll tell you what, every year after 2011, 2012, it just got harder and harder and harder to make sense of staying. But now with Gavin Newsom doing what he's doing to that state, it's becoming a real challenge to stay there. What are the businesses would survive COVID? Okay, so the best businesses, I believe, are going to be the money business. Money lending is going to be one of the biggest ones. So lending money, short-term loans will be a great one. Being an affordable housing provider will be another one. Those are like the main things that people will need no matter what. There's going to be money and shelter, those two things. So if you're going to be a real estate investor right now, it's kind of a challenge. At least it has been for me. I'm looking at deals and things are so expensive. It's very hard to make sense of the risk that you take right now with this eviction moratorium, everything that's going on, forbearances. But this will not go on forever. This is going to come to an end. And when it does come to an end, the smart will be there to capitalize on that opportunity. Why do you think JP Morgan, they're sitting on $500 billion in capital right now? And Jamie Dimon says himself that they're going to raise interest rates. It's a matter of time. And when they do, we'll be here with cash. What does that mean? Well, when they raise interest rates, adjustable mortgages are hit. Your purchasing power to buy properties changes, and that has to reflect the sales prices of real estate. Those home prices come down. They can buy more real estate with their money. So that's what's likely going to happen. They're going to go out there and pounce when the opportunity is there. So I love just reading and studying and seeing what people are doing that are making a lot of money. You guys ever read the book, The Richest Man in Babylon? I bought it on Amazon for the second time because I lost my original copy. And it's a really good book. And the lessons that they teach in this book apply so well to today. I'm going to summarize it so people that haven't read it can get a quick understanding. So there's a man, a very poor man financially. He doesn't have much money. And he's doing laborious work and he's barely breaking even. And one day he works for this man, the richest man in Babylon. And he had a project due and he couldn't do it in time. And he told the guy, come back in the morning. I'll stay up all night and work for you and make sure that this is done. If tomorrow you don't pay, you just give me your knowledge and tell me how you became the richest man in Babylon. So the next day he comes back and he has a conversation with him. And he says, okay, this is what I did. You have to save 10% of what you make and you have to essentially invest it. And so he does this for a year. He makes 10 gold shekels a month and he takes 1 gold shekel and he puts it away every month. And by the end of the year, he has his 12 shekels. And he goes out there and he speculates and he bets on something. He has like a blacksmith go out and buy him emeralds and he wanted to sell those for a profit. And the richest man in Babylon came back and said, you know what? Your strategy by speculating on something you don't understand, by hiring someone that doesn't know what they're doing, you're going to lose your money. Sure enough, he did lose his money. Then what he ended up doing is he had to save money again for a full year. They came back 1 year later and he had his money, and this time he invested it well. And what he ultimately ended up doing was he ended up lending his money out and getting a small return in silver. And this essentially grew like compound interest, and the guy ended up becoming very, very wealthy. So some really good, valuable lessons there. Invest in things you understand how money works, and be very responsible. Right now, we're in an environment where people are speculating, and some people are making a lot of money. Some people are not. Let's see here. Let's catch up on some of these comments. We own a laundromat in California. Yeah, Doris, laundromat is really good. Some of the things that might concern me with the laundromat business could be potential regulation that could be coming in the name of climate change. But that could be years down the road. So right now, just rake in as much cash as you can and invest it wisely when the opportunities present themselves. What are the businesses with using equity to get a new property for an Airbnb? Anastasia, so with the Airbnb business is really good right now, depending on where you are. But a couple of the reservations that I have right now is I wouldn't really dive into an Airbnb until we are 100% fully open without restriction. When that happens, then we'll know, that it's over, and we can further predict how, the tourism industry will do. If we go back into a closure, which is very possible, you look at Australia right now, you look at Canada, you look at Malaysia, that's what they're doing. Biden's talking about new potential problems. If that does happen and travel becomes an issue, I'm just saying hypothetically, off of what's going on in the world news, that could then impact your return for an Airbnb. So just be cautious when you invest in Airbnbs. Another thing that I see people do is they'll buy an Airbnb based on what they think they could rent their Airbnb for. So they end up overpaying for a property, and then if they can't rent the property as they imagined, then essentially they lose out big time because they have to lease it out long term, and the long term rate is going to be very different than a short term Airbnb rate. So make sure when you buy an Airbnb, you have multiple alternatives and you're not so much locked into one strategy. That way you're more nimble, you can move around, and you have multiple situations that could work out well positively and financially for you. Do credit card interest rates on balances rise? Yeah, so credit cards are unadjustable. You don't get, a long-term fixed rate debt with credit cards. They adjust. So you might have a 1 year. This is how they generally credit cards work, is they'll do a 12-month option. They'll say 0 interest for 12 months. And people are like, yay, 0 interest for 12 months. What ultimately happens is that is a bait. That's a trick, because they know they'll give you a $10,000 limit, and you'll think to yourself, okay, I'm just going to pay it off at the end, and I'll borrow all this money for free, and then at the end I'll pay no interest. And then most people don't have the money, and then they're paying 26% interest on 10 grand, and they end up paying back 30 grand to borrow 10 of which they really didn't need in the first place. They just wasted it on liabilities. So I would be careful with credit cards. I think the best investment most people can make right now that have credit card debt is getting to zero debt on your credit cards, because any real estate investment, even that I teach you here on this channel, if you're lucky, you might make 10 or 15% annually on a return. That's most deals are like 6%. If you're in LA or New York, it's like 4 or 5%. So credit cards are 26%. So even in a best case scenario in a real estate deal, you're still better off paying off your debt than probably investing. So I'd be careful with the credit cards. Loan sharking. Yeah, I wouldn't say loan sharking. It's money lending. So I guess it really depends on how you classify it. But credit cards are the same thing. Lending money. All businesses for the same thing that are lending money are lending. They're loans. I want to make a YouTube channel devoted to gaming. Do you see this as a viable source of revenue? 100%. The great thing about YouTube, for example, with gaming, and I never thought that this would be a thing. Like 10 years ago, I would have never thought, oh yeah, people are just going to watch other people play video games. But look at PewDiePie and these other gamers. People will just hang out. It feels like they're sitting in their buddy's living room, and they'll watch them play video games, Minecraft, for 3 hours. That whole time, that gamer is making money, like ridiculous amounts of money. I mean, you make money on YouTube in the gaming space, and literally almost all spaces if you actually care about the content and care about putting in the work. That's what it really comes down to with YouTube, is really putting in the work. With both of these channels that I have this main channel here and my other channel. I'm probably putting in 4 to 5 hours a day on both channels. And now with this channel, this is a brand new channel. So consider subscribing here. I'm going to be going live a couple times a week and talking about current events and real estate and making money. A lot of really cool things here. So consider subscribing here. But I'm going to be going live here probably 3 times a week. 3 times a week. So if you put the work in, you will grow a channel. You think an empty lot is a good idea? Empty lot is, so the problem with an empty lot, I mean, if you're buying farmland, that's a good idea. If you have a water source, that is a great idea. Michael Burry, Zac Efron, a lot of people are going out there buying farmland with water sources. That is smart. But just buying a lot in a residential neighborhood, maybe not so much, especially now that lumber prices are up, 150%. Even after the crash, even after they came back down to reality, at the peak, it was 300% above what they were pre-pandemic. So now it's only 150% above. So you're sitting in a situation where you don't know where lumber costs are going to be. Labor, there's a shortage of labor, and there's a lot of uncertainty in the world. So I wouldn't be out there buying a raw piece of land hoping to develop a single family home there. How many people signed up for just 1 or 2 year mortgages? Because they don't think a crash will happen super fast if most people have a 5-year fixed rate. People don't get 5-year fixed rate mortgages. What they'll generally get is a 15 to 30 year fixed rate mortgage or adjustable mortgage. Sometimes 10. If it's a commercial loan, multi-units, like 5, 7, 10, 20 units, you'll generally do like a 5-year or 7-year, maybe a 10-year loan. And then at that point in time, you'll refinance and do a different loan. How much money can homeowners as Florida make in the current market, assuming the house was bought right before? Okay, so let me give you a good example of this. Please smash that like button as well. Please help share this video. A good example of this, my wife is like, hey, John, we should get a house, because right now we're in an Airbnb that we leased. We should buy a house. I'm like, okay, send me a couple in the areas that you're looking at, and I'll start doing research, right? The deals that she was sending me, I was going on Zillow looking at the sales history. They literally increased by about 100% over the last 3 years. That's how insane the market is right now in Florida. Wages are not rising at that rate. So how is that sustainable? We have a lot of money coming in from New York and California and other wealthier parts of the world. That's okay. But how long will that activity continue? I don't think so. I think that we're going to see some big price changes coming to South Florida. That's what I think. What about farmland? Water, yeah, farmland with a water source is an incredible investment. For a variety of reasons. One is there's a finite supply of land, which is obviously great. It's a true store of value. And then 2, you have a natural water source on it. As long as you have exclusive water rights, which is going to be important to be sure that you have natural and exclusive water rights over your property. The ideal situation would be a running stream of water. Airsoft filled is another great idea. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that, Anastasia? What do you guys think? Give me some ideas. What do you guys think are some great money-making opportunities? I have some friends that make a ton of money online, one of which sells natural supplements online for working out at home, because a lot of people are working out at home. But he's been killing it, making a couple $100,000 a month doing that. I have 80,000 equity on my property. I pay only $1,070 per month. What should I invest in? Tony, is your mortgage a fixed rate mortgage? Because if it's not, I would suggest right now to solidify a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. I would not be on an adjustable rate mortgage right now. If you can get 30-year fixed rate mortgages right now, solidify that and refinance. Consulting is a great business. Yeah, consulting is a really good business. One thing I would suggest, because I have a student of mine who also wants to do consulting, and he is pursuing clients, but the best thing is if clients pursue you. So how would they do that? Is by you having a personal brand, a YouTube channel. You are socially known in the social media world. At that point, it's going to be pretty easy for you to attract customers. So I'm really thinking about the strategy, because I know for me, whenever I'm about to meet anyone new, I look them up on social media. Kind of vibe them out, see if I like the person, if this is someone that I would connect with. I'll All potential customers are doing all of that with all of us. I heard you need to get the thing for American visas. I am in Canada. Yeah. I mean, we'll see if that happens. We'll see. It kind of seems like it's going in that direction, right? It seems like we're heading in that world. That's why, I'm literally staying up most nights thinking about like, okay, what can I do right now that in the next 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 years will really have just worked out well. Thinking of creative ways to make money, because the old ways are not going to work anymore. Like the old retail business models, opening up a restaurant, being service business face to face, that is going to go through a real big challenge. Some predictions that I have, Amazon right now, for example, they're getting into like the supercuts business model where they're opening up chains for haircutting. What I think is going to happen is these big tech conglomerates are going to be going after Joe the plumber, those little small businesses, and they're going to really use this new current event as a way for them to monopolize and end small businesses. And I think that's what's going to happen. So be really smart and clever with how you are building out your business models. But look at Amazon getting into the supercuts business model. Look at what they're doing with shopping right now, where there's a lot of these stores, you guys probably have seen it, where there's no cash register, there's no employees. You literally put it in your cart and you just scan out with your phone. So that is, they're trying to make some really big changes, and it's all kind of happening right now. It's pretty shocking. Go to Mexico and walk across the. Yeah, I have friends in Mexico. I really like Mexico. I think it's really beautiful. There's some really beautiful sections. It's affordable, and it's a great place to have an online business. We can only stay for 6 months and a 365-day period. Yeah, you should look into that more and see some creative ways. I watch another guy on YouTube and social media that talks about getting visas in different countries and creative tax strategies. All that's going to be really important. Joe Biden wants to hire 80,000. I was talking to my buddy about this, who's worth a lot of money. I was like, dude, he wants to hire 80,000 more IRS agents, making 190,000 IRS agents for. It comes out to about one person or one IRS agent per 1,100 people. That's over the age of 21. So how many people are actually taxpayers over the age of 21? Probably minus 10 or 15% of that initial figure. So one agent per 900 people in America that is just going after IRS and auditing because he needs to fund his America's Families Plan. So he's going after this. Plan to pursue people that make money. His name is Nomad Capitalist. He goes after people that he thinks, okay, yeah, we need to extract funding for this Nomad or for this America's Families Plan. So he's going to do this, and what's ultimately going to happen is, my fear is, they're going to say, okay, here's one problem in year 2020, your tax returns. Let's go review year 2019. Let's go look at 2018, 2017, and they're going to backdate it and start really going after people. And then they start adding penalties and interest and things of that nature. That's what Biden's trying to do right now. It's pretty sick. That's why right now I'm opening up a bunch of different LLCs and really organizing. I opened up 5 LLCs on Friday and have a new bookkeeper. And I'm getting, extra careful about every single thing that I'm doing tax-wise, just because I think they're going to really start clamping down on people. So be creative and pay attention to what Biden's doing, because I think the number one rule, as Warren Buffett said, number one rule about making money is, don't forget rule number 1, which is, making money. Or no, he says 2 rules to making money. Rule number 1 is, I forget what it was. It was 2 rules to making money. Rule number 1 is to make money. Rule number 2 is don't forget rule number 1. And with Biden and everything that they're trying to do right now is it's really kind of turning America into a different place, a place like we've never imagined. Good luck to him with that plan. I have a dual citizenship and shall flee if they try to take. Yeah, what's crazy? Robert Kiyosaki, he, Rich Dad Poor Dad, he says you need 3 days. 3 days. You need a 3-day plan. If the world were to come to a really scary place, where could he go in 3 days? That's his whole philosophy, because he thinks America's in huge trouble. So, yeah, that's it, Raimundo. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. He thinks the world's in big trouble. So he says you need 3-day period. So if the world comes to a really scary place, you can go somewhere in 3 days. And I agree with him. So having dual citizenship is a great situation, especially if you have money like in an offshore account. You don't need $1 bajillion to do that. You can simply open up an account and put a little bit of money in there. Sanitation business, definitely. Waste management. Bill Gates has a huge position in waste management. But I think that some of the big winners of this game, if you look at BlackRock and a lot of these corporations, they're going out there seizing up American homes because they know that immigration's coming. Immigration, it's already here, but it's coming at a much bigger scale in the coming 1 to 2 to 3 years. And it's going to turn this into like almost renter nation, where what they're doing is, if we look at, as I mentioned in the Michael Burry video yesterday, if you look at Facebook and these tech companies, their cost of advertising for your business was very small in 2011, 2012. Now it's so damn expensive to advertise online. These very people want to get into the housing market. What do you think that they're going to do with rental rates? It's going to go through the roof. It's going to get so damn expensive to really to rent a house. That's why I'm saying get on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage on your house. If I were a first-time buyer right now, let's say I was a 23-year-old, I had 20 grand in the bank and like a 650 credit score. My goal right now would be getting my credit score above 720 and getting pre-approved for a mortgage. And I would probably try to buy a fourplex, like 4 units where I can live in 1 unit. I can get a 30-year rate mortgage. And then ideally, my unit, I'd live for free. The other unit would basically pay for the mortgage. The other unit would pay for the expenses. And this unit would just be all savings and profit. I would become financially stable right now. That's what I would be doing. BlackRock is only going to grow, though. They're Fed backed. So what that means, taxpayers are basically funding the end of America. Like the end of America as we once knew it, with the American dream being alive and well. That's what they're going after right now. Like that Bloomberg article that I posted on my other channel yesterday, it's friggin' insane. They're saying that Americans should not own a home, saying that they'll be happier not owning a home. And when we saw that, World Economic video, where they're like, oh, you'll own nothing, you'll be happy and all that. Well, then Bloomberg, Bloomberg's part of that. Then Bloomberg later puts out that article 2 days ago, and they're actually pushing this. This is what they want to sell. They're going to try to sell, this is how we combat inequality and inequity, is that we, as a whole, only the 1% will own most, and then 99% will just pretty much live off of what we tell them they can live off of. So that's why right now is like that 1 to 3 year period, probably even less, like the 1 to 2 year period from now until probably the end of 2022 is the moment to make a fortune, a ton of money. So I'm reading like every night now and really just thinking things through about how I'm spending my time so that, my kid won't be stuck in a bad situation. Because you think about how hard it is today, think about how hard it will be in 20 years from now to get a job. It's going to be pretty challenging. He's 18 months old. We have another baby on the way. That's why right now it's the time to really take a hard look at where they're trying to take this world. Home ownership, the rates are only going to plummet in the coming couple of years. When this eviction moratorium, the forbearances expire, when all that stuff happens, there's going to be some panic in the market. The Fed said that they need to increase interest rates. When that happens, there's going to be some panic in the market. That's why you have a lot of smart money on the sidelines. What are my thoughts on Forex, Omar? I'm a firm believer in just not speculating. Some speculators lose money or make money, but a lot actually lose money. And Forex, I think Forex, it's obviously gained a lot of traction, a lot of attention over the last year or two, but I wouldn't put my money there. And I would suggest that everyone that has some money right now to figure out how to multiply that money, how to invest it well and be cautious. I wouldn't be taking big risky bets right now. Yeah, Canada is horrible. I hear Canada home prices are through the roof. I'm thinking who the hell would want to live in Canada right now? It seems like you can't do anything. I see the videos on TikTok. I'm like, yeah, that's probably the last place I want to go is Canada. Yep, I would probably go. I would do Mexico. I would do. There's a lot of places that you can live a really nice, happy life, but Canada's probably not one of them. AI is a really big concern. It's a bigger concern than people realize, and it's going to really become known in the next 5 years how big of a problem AI will be. Why do the leaders love the demise? Well, I don't know if they're even leaders. I think they're just, they're there to facilitate a job. And unfortunately, the facilitators are facilitating against best interest of the citizens. Yeah, Malta is really good. I've not yet been there, but I've done a lot of research on it and I'm just reading about it. And they're kind of not a part of all this. So I would love to visit. It's not that bad in the US. I live in Eastern Europe and the restrictions are way tougher. Yeah, so I have team members that are in Europe and around the world, and they tell me that things are getting really bad over there. Yeah, these people are definitely puppets. That's why, again, it really comes down to like strategy right now, thinking about it. And owning real estate is going to be so crucial, so important. But I honestly, if I owned a small business and I thought that maybe the next couple of years it could be really challenging, I would probably sell my home right now and I would buy a multi-unit property, like a 3 or a 4 unit property, just so I had some backup income that could come in to help me weather the storm. I wouldn't want to be all committed on a big mortgage if I couldn't afford it in the hard times. AI in the military level can, yeah, I've seen some crazy videos also on TikTok with the AI and the military and stuff. I need to buy a home, but what now? You want, the number one goal should be to get those incomes, like your actual debt expenses, fixed. So having a fixed expense, ideally your income coming in is far above your expenses, but getting that really the debt to almost zero per month. You could do that with a 3 or 4 unit property, as I've been suggesting. Is when you start with a triplex or a fourplex, that you could buy with 3.5% down, 4% down. Let me give you a situation on how that would work. Let's say you find a deal for $400,000. Right now with these low interest rates, you could put down, say 3.5% or 5% down, right? You could put that money, 20 grand plus closing costs, maybe you need 30,000, and your overall debt commitment might be $2,000 a month. You could live in one of those units, and maybe the other units rent for $1,000 or $1,200. Live in one of those units. The other 2 units will essentially pay off all your debt. You'll get some tax deductions, and then 1 unit will be profit, which you could live off of, and hopefully have enough money for food and car insurance and things of that nature. That's a pretty good situation to get into over a single family home. If you're in a position to buy a single family house in bulk now, would have cash to get the cash flow and stability and jobs. Well, what I think is likely to happen is I would not be surprised if we start seeing 2 and 3 families living inside of a single house, kind of like a third world country. That's honestly where I'm thinking that this could go in the coming 5 years. It might not start there like immediately, but it probably will. It's going to grow into like a renting trend that's only going to progress. And then there's going to be more and more people coming to this country. There's going to be more people that need rentals. And the article that I was reading on Bloomberg yesterday, they said that, and this isn't a theory, this is what they said, that if they own the properties, that they would be able to make more units. And then because there's more units, the rent could come down. And he says that normal single family homeowners don't want to develop their properties. So if they rented their homes, then they could bring the cost of living to an affordable level. So basically, it would turn into like a slum with a ton of people that are living inside of what one house was, then it turned into 3 houses or 4 houses, turned into a duplex, triplex, 4, and pack them in like sardines. So they're going to try to take it. That's why I think it's so important to own rental properties. Heard government will have refugees living. Yeah, I heard a situation. This is I don't know, 3-4 months ago. I did a video on it on my main channel, and what they were doing was they took in people from across the border, and they kicked out people here that were living in like halfway houses, little kids that were living in halfway houses. They were trying to find a more stable environment for them because they were orphans. And they kicked them out and they put in people from across the border into those homes. And now the people that are citizens here were now on the street. So young kids, 10, 12, 13 years old, they're on the street trying to find another place to live. So it would not surprise me to start to see more crazy and radical situations unfold. That's why we live in this world now where people they're putting a lot of trust in the system. I think that is a huge mistake. I don't think anyone should trust the system. I don't think anyone should trust, someone else to take care of you. So like the stimulus checks, that's why I'll never do stimulus check videos excited about the stimulus, because I think the stimulus is a scam. I think the stimulus is really here to strip away people's freedoms and rights and make them dependent on the system. So it's a bad situation that they're trying to like develop, which is this dependence, high level dependence. So fight that with everything you have. John, have you ever considered turning a long-term rentals into short-term Airbnbs? I've considered it, but right now I think that the real winner of this game is affordable living, long-term leases, and in areas that are close to expensive areas, meaning like gentrifying areas. Those are where the opportunities are. I'm looking at some pretty decent-sized deals now, and I'll probably end up buying something like the next couple weeks. But I'm also looking for land too. I'm on a buying mission, but prices have just been insane. It's been hard to make sense of some of the price points that people are paying. Stimulus, the dependency, like unemployment. I have a friend, childhood friend, known each other like 20 years, and his rent is $2,700 a month. All he has to pay is 25% per Gavin Newsom in California. And what's happening is that he's only paying like $550 a month or whatever it is. And he's working like half as much as he normally would work because his bills are so small. So he's working less, he's paying less. He has like a fat bill that the landlord is trying to hit him with, like over $20,000. And he just doesn't want to work. And when I look at that, I look at the data, 1 in 5 renters is not paying rent right now. So, being a landlord, I suggest being a landlord, but at the same time, being a landlord is not all that it's cracked up to be if you're in the wrong place like California or New York. So you got to be strategic and smart and responsible with the debt that you take on as a property investor. Be very, very smart and careful with debt and leverage, especially in these uncertain times. How can I get around this? I feel long-term rent is so risky here in Canada. Rent is only going to go up. It's only going to go up. When people can't afford a down payment to buy a house, what options do they have? They have to rent. They have no choice but to rent. That's why I really believe that we're going to see situations where people are living with 3 or 4 or 5, 6 other people inside of like a 1-bedroom place. Like, it sounds crazy, right? Like, have you ever seen the Seinfeld episode where Cosmo Kramer had a dresser bureau in the room, and people are living in the drawers, like little they were like I don't know, the people were like 3 feet tall. They were like small enough to, because at that time he worked in a circus, so like the people were like in his act in the circus, and they were all living in these drawers. Probably what America could look like in the next 5 to 10 years if we continue down this road. Do I do affiliate marketing? I do not do affiliate marketing, but I know a lot of people that do and make a ton of money. So one thing I'd be careful about with affiliate marketing is just make sure that you represent products that you yourself support, that you like, not just because of the commission. Pick things that you would recommend to your mom. Because at the end of the day, your brand and reputation means a hell of a lot more than a small little commission you're going to get one time. And when you put your name on it, that person they're going to put you as the person that put them in that situation to make that purchase. So if they're unhappy, they're going to blame you. This is what's happening here. You can see 4 cars parked at one house in Ontario. Yep, Ontario is really expensive. I have a property that has enough room to build another house. Do you think right now is a good time to build or wait for the crash? It depends on where you're at, Omar. California, like, it really just depends. Yeah, it's interesting too, because before, investing in real estate was not so political, but now in certain markets you just take on more risk. It's like I wouldn't buy anything in California right now. Gavin Newsom's on a rampage. Andrew Cuomo in New York is on a rampage, just stripping away liberty and freedoms from investors. So if I owned a house and it was in California, I wouldn't develop it right now. I probably would, me personally, I would sell the house. I would sell the house and take that money. A lot of people are going to overpay for the property. Take that money and deploy it into something that will put me in a position to be financially free forever. Can you do real estate under 18? You might have a hard time getting a loan. That's going to be the problem, getting a loan, because you need 2 years stable income. So generally people start their careers at 22, 23, and they buy their first house at 25. Unless you have a co-signer. If your mom or dad or somebody will co-sign, then you can do that. If I consider moving to Russia, no, I have not. Yep, exactly. Reagan nailed it. I'm from Big Brother. I'm here to help run from that situation. Yeah, I'm in California. It's a shame. I loved California so much. Like when I moved there, it was like my dream, my childhood dream. And now it's just unfortunate. It's really hard. They almost don't want business owners to be there. It seems like they're trying to build out like an economy that's mainly controlled by the state. I think NY and California are near big bodies of water, and there's something to it. So they're trying to get people to leave. Yeah, people are leaving, but the problem is that they're getting the people that are actually hiring to leave. In California, they're pushing out like universal basic income pilot programs, all these different systems, these welfare programs. The problem is they should be attracting job opportunities. They should be attracting businesses. Like if I were running California right now, I would be incentivizing the billionaires to bring jobs. I'd offer them incredible tax breaks. I'd offer them all these opportunities for them. And in return, they bring a lot of high-paying jobs because the high-paying jobs are going to support the country, the state. So that's what I'd be doing. But Newsom, he has another strategy, which is increasing the taxes on the wealthy and making it hard for them to stay in business in California. Kids don't need to wear in schools. Yeah. I was born and raised in NYC and moved to Cali a few years ago. Really like California. I don't want to leave. Yeah, that's great. I mean, it depends on where you're at in California. For me, I love real estate investing. That's one of my favorite. Like that's what I personally love, and it's just hard to do that in California, especially as a multifamily landlord. In Russia, you have other problems. I live 3 hours from the border. Many Russians come here because of the situation there. You don't want to wear. You're not free either. Yeah. I've never been to Russia. I've never been there. I have a house here, and I really don't want to leave. Newsom is terrible. Yeah, Newsom. I lived right near a metro stop near downtown LA, and I used to take my son every single day because at that time he was like 3 to 4 months of age, and he loved going on the little train rides. So I'd take him downtown LA. One day we saw someone shooting up. The next day we saw someone smoking something. It's not like the 420, like the actual bad stuff, smoking it, seeing fights, and like it was just a real disaster zone. Everything's boarded up. Seemed like a third world city. It all happened overnight, and it got to the point where I couldn't even take him. So I hope California kind of recovers and things change there, but I don't see it happening. It seems like Newsom is only getting worse, and I think that California is driving. California, New York, so many places are really driving this new normal situation. Flipping and reselling. The other thing with flipping real estate is a great opportunity. People make a lot of money flipping houses. Some big problems right now, though, is that you have a labor shortage. So you might have a hard time finding people to actually work. Lumber cost and appliances, a lot of them are on back order. So meanwhile, you have to hold the debt on the property, high interest rate debt on the property until you can get everything ready. And then supporting all that is that the market seems very unstable. It could just change on a drop of a dime. Everything could just change. So with some bad news, we've seen it happen before. So I think that there's more uncertainty in the economy, in the market. So doing a house flip, overpaying for a property like a lot of people are doing to fix up, to pay more for lumber, more for appliances, more for labor, to hopefully sell it and find someone else to pay more and enough for you to take a profit, seems very risky. I would probably stick more to long-term rentals. That's the game. Long-term rentals and just hold on. That I think that you're only going to have more and more demand for those units as time goes and more people just are forced to rent. But yeah, the money business, the rental business is going to be a good one. The e-commerce space is going to be a great one. Consulting, helping other people make money online. So if you are, let's just say you have a great support team, you understand how to build out websites and you understand advertising and funnels and you can do all these things. I would bring on, like what I would do if I'm not talented in those areas. I have a team that is, but what I would do if I were you is that I would probably take on a few customers at a very low rate, just so you can have proof of concept and you could advertise their success and their results on your website, and then you could increase your prices over time as you become more credible. Yeah, thank you, Logic. Yeah, please smash that like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube's going to share this video and educate more people, and they'll learn about real estate, money lending, online businesses, and all that. I'm under 18. Can I bird dog? I don't know what that means. If you're 18, you are you're really fortunate. A lot of people, they don't get into the personal finance space until later. So what's really cool now is that with YouTube, people are gaining financial literacy really young, and they're just sitting at home watching and learning and doing things that most other people, don't do until later. So thank you guys for smashing that like button. If you're American, the best investment is to marry me. I will money you. Yeah, I mean, that's one way. If I had to leave America, where would you go? I'm actually kind of curious. Where would you guys go? If you guys had to leave America right now, where would you guys go and why? What do I think America will be like or look like in 10 years? It's so hard to say, but it could be like a combination between a couple third world countries, unfortunately, because the way that the system is set up. I mean, Joe Biden right now is talking about a universal basic income. So I think that's kind of a matter of time. But if you were, let's just say you were hungry and you didn't have a job and you lost everything and you lived in Guatemala or Ecuador or South America or Mexico or any of these countries, right? Where would you go? You'd probably go somewhere where they're going to give you free money and their state's going to take care of you. That's the kind of system that they're trying to establish here in America. That's why, you have Robert Kiyosaki and a lot of these billionaires that are buying properties in other countries. They're kind of like getting themselves ready. Southeast Asia, Colombia, Dubai. Yeah, I mean, Southeast Asia, like Malaysia looks beautiful. I've never been. Colombia, yeah. Colombia, I've seen the riots, so I've seen some problems over there too. So I'd want to go somewhere safe. That's what I would want to go. Somewhere safe where there's low crime and, not corruption. I'd go to Malta because you have easy access to the rest of Europe. It's clean. Getting a passport is the fastest access to a passport in Europe. What's the process like getting a passport in Malta? I'm actually have family there, not Colombia, Portugal, great health insurance. My friend's getting a passport in Portugal now. But it's been like an ongoing process for him for coming up on a year. Yeah, I'm not going to answer the other thing. I am thinking about selling my home in Oceanside, California. Is it possible to contact these investment companies like Blackstone directly then to purchase my home? Thoughts? I wouldn't contact them directly. I would list it on the open market, and I'd probably price it pretty low. Like that's what I would do. I'd probably price it like 5% below asking, or 5% below market value. Drive in a lot of offers, and you'll probably get more than what you otherwise would have gotten if you overpriced it in the first place. So price it really well to drive a lot of traffic in. So at that point, you'll be able to have better terms of your escrow. You'll be able to get a better price, and that's a strategy. Republic of Georgia is okay. I live here. Tell me about that. I haven't been to Republic of Georgia. I hear good things. I hear it's a really friendly place for business. Different states for money, looking for a northern red states. American mix is the most expats. I hear that. I read an article from CNBC saying that America loses to Mexico in terms of happiness, ability to make friends, business, and quality of life. So across all of those, Mexico loses. But it's interesting. The mainstream media here kind of portrays this this narrative that Mexico is unsafe. So Portugal is safe and great health insurance. John, let's see. It depends for Malta. If you have money, you can do a citizenship by investment. So you just what would be a typical investment? You would buy a house. What's the typical housing price for? Like, what is the median home price in Malta, in like the city hub? Not sure success rate. I don't use IG. Georgia is clean and very cheap to live, surprisingly. There's no such thing as free money. High taxes or print more money. That is worthless. Yeah, Mexico. I have friends that kind of live near like the Cancun, Tulum area. If you want to share, of course. Yeah, so I'm really just thinking about some of the biggest opportunities going forward. AI and automation, robotics. We're going to start to see so many jobs go so fast. It's going to be shocking. So you have to ask yourself, what jobs are going to make it? Like Elon Musk, his Neuralink. They want to have the Neuralink installed. What do you guys think about the Neuralink, by the way? But they want to have that installed with artificial intelligence robotics. So they're going after, the white collar jobs first, and then the blue collar jobs, which is surprising. But it's very cheap in Georgia, and nice people too. Very conservative and traditional. Lots for kids to do. That my mom or my wife is in like all these mommy groups with people that are just like how you guys seem, like just freedom. They loves freedom. Very careful about putting him around like some people that are not the same way. How long do you think we have left before these aren't any more affordable properties? Right now we're looking at it. Right now, like home prices are insane. I mean, in this community that I'm in right now, 50% off was the price you could have paid 3 years ago. So how much higher can they go? The problem is that as the prices increase, so does the property tax on the properties. And BlackRock, they don't care because they have these things called carbon credits. Do you guys know what carbon credits are and what they're doing right now with this green energy movement? It's quite insane. They're saying that homes and multifamily properties and commercial properties are putting out a lot of emissions, and that some ways to get around it are to get rid of AC, electricity in their homes, put solar on the roof, so basically rebuild people's properties. That's what they're saying that people should be doing with their homes. But they said one way around it is like carbon credits, basically buying carbon credits. And it's like, it feels like extortion. It feels like you're like in a third world country basically saying, hey, I'm going to protect your deli if you give me 10% of your income. That's kind of what it seems like. So people have to buy carbon credits. And then they're putting out this now with a 15% tax they're trying to pass with G7, which will, if businesses, these large corporations have less than 15% income, then they don't have to abide by it. So it's going to force these big conglomerates and buy artificial intelligence and robotics because they can write them off and depreciate them like a traditional business owner would a work vehicle. And then they can go out there and use debt and leverage to buy residential real estate and then buy carbon credits and offset their expenses. I mean, it's and basically pay no tax. So it's quite insane. It's incredible, actually. Mexican brick homes in America. Hold on one sec. My son's he's at the door. Hey, Jonathan. Probably come in the screen for a sec. Hey, did you have fun? Mama. We're gonna go out to eat for Father's Day. And we have a reservation in an hour. Oh, cool. But yeah, so I'm going to be going live here. Thanks, Jonathan. I'm going to be going live on this channel 3 times a week. So subscribe, hit the notification bell next to the subscribe icon, and you'll be notified the next time I go live. And I'll see you guys on that call. All right, guys. Oh, you want to say hi, Jonathan? How was it? You have fun?
Oh, it's fine. The door's locked.
On the phone. All right. I'll see you guys the next live. Thanks so much. Yeah, I had a lot of fun on these lives. So I'm going to start doing these lives a lot more often. And we'll kind of come up with cool things that we can talk about on these lives. And I think I'll make a lot of money together. All right, guys.